Dude, Jamie's outside. What are you doing up here?
I'm getting my butt kicked by Dinkelman. That's what I'm doing up here. You see him play that guitar? It's like he has 15 fingers. Everybody loves him. I can't compete with this guy.
You can't compete with this? Are you kidding me? You're Chris Brander. You're Hollywood. You date models. He's Jersey. He skis in his jeans. It's Dinkelman. It's Dusty Dinkelman.
So I've been skiing exactly one time in my life, snowboarding actually, and it was, in fact, in my jeans.
You did?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's the joke, but like, I don't know, I was 17 at the time, 16, I didn't know any different.
I mean,
I didn't have ski pants.
The proximity to Jersey from where you were probably skiing isn't very far, so I guess it would be acceptable?
It's a stone's throw away. I can literally throw a stone and it would make it to Jersey. So Jersey. Yeah, I'm practically Jersey. You can call me Jersey.
So how wet were your jeans by the end of the snowboarding run? Were they soaked? Like, was it Roadhouse levels wet?
I didn't think they were wet at all, but maybe I just didn't notice because my wrist was broken. So I don't know. Maybe I just, the wetness didn't register. I don't know. They were probably
I forgot
wet.
that you broke your wrist. And I don't mean to laugh. I really don't mean to laugh, but
I didn't know it was broken either until I got home. So
I forgot. Well, welcome back. This is episode 95 of the Last Row Podcast. My name is Drew. If you're joining us, join on the other side of the call here by my co-host Badway. If you're new to the show, you're looking for our website, thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter @TheLastRowPod. Check out our Facebook page @TheLastRowPod, Facebook.com/TheLastRowPod. Head out to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Apparently, you can leave a 5-star review on Spotify now. So if you see that 5-star review and you're enjoying the show, please leave one. And same with Podchaser.
People, don't be lazy. Give us 5 stars, please. People,
we could use a couple more.
We need this, people. We
did the split 3 years ago at this point? I don't even know what our next milestone should be. So maybe if we put another one out there, we can get more reviews.
If we get 5 more 5-star reviews, then Drew will strip naked and run across the street.
Yeah. Done. Deal. The people are going to be like, not really review. They don't want to see that.
On Instagram. Anyway, just friends, Drew. Just like us, just friends. 2005.
That's all I am to you?
November. Yeah, that's right. We're friends. We're not best friends. November 23rd. You're not my best friend. November 23rd, Thanksgiving movie, Drew.
I was in the theater on Thanksgiving. Yeah. Not on Thanksgiving, but I saw this in the theater in November of 2005.
This was a rental for me. Genre, comedy/romance. Directed by Roger Cumble. Not Richard Kimball, Drew. Roger Cumble.
Detective Roger Cumble.
Do you know what else Roger Cumble is good for, Drew?
No.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. 6.2 out of 10 IMDb.
That's about right.
That's too low. Rotten Tomato 42%.
Way too low. Come on.
That's a bit too low. Metacritic 47%. It's
too low.
Probably definitely a little too low. Letterboxd 2.7 out of 5.
Too low. And I liked it.
Too low.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Did you love it?
It's the best movie ever made.
Too low. And I liked it. High
school student Chris Brander loves his best friend Jamie Palomino. Has there ever been a name that you more long for, Drew?
No, Jamie Palomino.
Jamie Palomino. You just you sing it. You sing it when you say it.
It's good. That's good character design.
Yeah, he finally confesses his feelings, but she tells him that she just wants to be friends, and he leaves town in shame. 10 years later, loser leaves town match, and he left. Chris is a successful record executive and involved with self-absorbed pop star Samantha James. He still pines for Jamie, though, and when his plans to go to Paris for the holidays fall through, he returns to his hometown to try to win her heart. Rated R.
Listen, I copied and pasted that from Google, but that is not the movie. That isn't the movie.
It's kind of not really it at all. That's okay. You get the gist of it.
Doesn't that make it sound like a Hallmark movie? Like
yes,
his
does.
Plans for Paris fall through. Like he didn't want to go to Paris. His boss was sending him there.
And he didn't want to go to Jersey. He wasn't there to win her heart. He wasn't even thinking about seeing her.
This is a different movie. What the hell movie is this? This is a Hallmark movie, in my opinion.
Jamie Palomino. The brain gets cloudy when you're thinking of Jamie Palomino.
Jamie Pal. Oh my God. Anyway, taglines.
Tag us
These are
up.
some of the best taglines that the Last Row podcast has ever foreseen, has ever seen.
Says you. We'll see about
So
that.
judge away. Ready? Some friends are just friends. Others you get to see naked. That's a good one. Come on. That's a good one.
That's good.
Give it the credit, man. Give it some credit.
That's okay.
Moments like this have been ruining friendships for centuries. It's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. What are you going to put that on a poster? That's not going to read.
2 words a guy never wants to hear.
That's a good tagline because
That is pretty
you
good.
put that on the top and on the bottom, just friends.
Yeah, that's probably
great.
the best one.
That's how you tag a line right there. That's how you do it.
This is the worst one. He loves her. She loves him not.
Next.
Next. Financials. I couldn't even find a budget for this because I guess when you film in Jersey, like it's just an unlimited budget. I don't even know.
They pay you to
They pay
do
you
their
to film
movie.
in Jersey,
Yeah.
the Garden State.
Yeah.
The Garden State. And
Did
you
they
know,
even film in Jersey?
No, they didn't.
No?
It was Saskatchewan.
But still.
It was Los Angeles and then in Canada. So there was
But Jersey pays you for like the plug.
they had to pay the
oh,
name.
Tell everyone that this movie's in Jersey, and then we'll pay you because
Yeah,
we
they got
need it.
money. Just, they
Because
got
we
to
need
prop
it.
up the reputation of Jersey here.
Yeah.
Cumulative worldwide gross 50.9 million. I can't even tell you whether this was a bomb or not because I don't know what it cost, but I like to say that it did okay.
That
I would
seems pretty
assume.
good for a rom-com, right?
Yeah, for a
Not bad.
rom-com,
Not bad.
it's not bad. And so there's a couple prestigious awards that this was nominated for, as we like to talk about on this show. It was nominated for an MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss in 2006.
Ooh, sexy.
And it went against Hustle and Flow. It went against Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. It went against Sin City, Rosario Dawson and Clive Owen. And it also went against Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger to Brokeback Mountain. And it lost. So Brokeback
sexy.
Mountain was the winner.
Of all those, I feel like the kiss that I remember the most is the Sin City one.
Yeah, that
I
one
remember
was-
I remember the talk over of Clive Owen where he goes, "It burns, baby, like a fire. It burns," and I'm like, yeah, you kiss her.
that is a very memorable kiss. Like
That
the
was a
rest
memorable
of these,
kiss.
I wouldn't even call this one memorable. Like she licked his mouth.
Yeah,
Like-
it was what do you call it? Like hostage. It was like a hostage situation kiss. It was a get information out of you kiss.
What's the Chili Peppers lyric? Or it's a song "Suck My Kiss."
Suck my kiss.
That's what that was. That was sucking my kiss. That's
Yeah.
what I'm not a Chili Peppers like connoisseur, but that's what that was. So so it also had a Teen Choice Award in 2006. It was nominated for the category Choice Lip Lock. Same thing, Anna Faris and Chris Marquette.
Interesting.
And it was up against She's the Man, Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum, X-Men The Last Stand, the I can never say her name, Famke Janssen.
Famke
Janssen?
Famke Janssen.
Janssen, all right. And Hugh Jackman. So Jean Grey and Wolverine for X-Men The Last Stand, Wedding Crashers, Rachel McAdams and Owen Wilson, The Last Holiday, Queen Latifah and LL Cool J. That's a kiss that I would have never expected would be in a movie, but you know what? They apparently that happened in Last Holiday. Never saw the movie,
Yeah.
and it lost to an interdimensional time warp kiss of Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves in the Lake House. So it couldn't even beat that.
It's weird how that Just Friends was in the best kiss category for both channels or whatever, but that's the only movie that's consistent. Like everything else that's weird.
When it's not even like it wasn't even a real kiss, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was Chris Marquette and Anna Faris. They're like
Was it
side
even-
characters.
Was it even that memorable? Like that's strange to me. I don't know. It's just that's a
Like,
weird.
shouldn't the one between Chris Brander and Jamie Palomino be on it? I don't get it.
Only on the last row do you get the strangest tidbit of
You get
movies.
this breakdown, man. And then the last one that we'll give people is it was also nominated for a 2006 Teen Choice Award of Choice Hissy Fit, Anna Faris, and it also lost. It lost to Keira Knightley from Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. I don't even remember. The other ones in the
remember.
category are classic here. So Click, Adam Sandler, Lindsay
Okay.
Lohan, Just My Luck, Isla Fisher, Wedding Crashers. But the best one on this list that really clearly should have won was King Kong. King Kong in King Kong.
Yeah. How do you beat a hissy fit from a large ape?
But is that a hissy fit, or is that just him like living his
I
life?
was about to bash the category for being sexist or something back in 2006. But then Adam Sandler's in it, and then King Kong's in it, so it's all right. I thought it was going to be like a woman-only thing, and then I was about to bash it for being sexist, but it redeemed itself. It's cool.
But is King Kong throwing a hissy fit, or is he just trying to like live his life, man?
Yeah, when King Kong throws a hissy fit, everybody knows it. So it's like the world knows it. It's King Kong.
There was a little bit of trivia. We already mentioned it. I don't even go into it. It's nothing really. I mean, I don't know. It was filmed in Saskatchewan. That's it. That's the hottest piece of trivia that you'll know. But look, this is Christmas. It's Christmas. It's the holidays for people that don't celebrate Christmas. We want to welcome the Last Row listeners to the holiday season. We've done a bunch of holiday episodes here so far. I'll link to all the old episodes that we've done in the past. We did Christmas Extravaganza, where we talked about Love Actually. We've done Home Alone 2. We've done, what was it? Jack Frost was one of our other episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And we've done Jingle All the Way. We'll link to all of them in the episode show notes. Check them out if you get a chance. We were trying to figure out what kind of Christmas movie we could do here. We settled on Just Friends, which is a classic in the viewing household of me and you, I think, here. But is this movie really a Christmas movie? We've had this debate on the show in the past about others like Die Hard in one of our previous episodes, but would you consider this a Christmas movie? What's your take on this? Because I consider it one, maybe.
You know, it's funny, like, you know, obviously we're doing it as a Christmas episode, and when we decided to do this episode, I'm like, yeah, sure, it's a Christmas movie, yeah, sure. But when I went to watch it just now, it really hit me for the first time that Christmas is so, like, just in the background that it almost isn't a Christmas movie. Now, I don't know what your initial thought was, but yeah, like, I'm okay with calling it a Christmas movie, and we're totally doing this. But, like, really, this could have been in the summer. It could have been in, you know, in the fall. It doesn't matter where it is. I guess there's the whole Home for the Holidays thing, which is kind of plays a part into this. But I mean, really, the characters, it didn't matter one way or the other.
No, it didn't. I mean, they got together for it, but they could have easily done 4th of July and said, oh, we're going to have a 4th of July bash.
Yeah.
Like, it was maybe a Christmas feeling movie because of the Home for the Holidays piece, but I don't know. I do think it enhanced the overall story, though, because it made it a little bit more, like, 4th of July wouldn't have had an impact on this. It's like, oh, why is he home? But he could have been flying to Paris any time of the year. It didn't really matter.
Yeah, I think just like with kind of with Die Hard, I think like it enhances the stakes, like the feelings are higher, you know, this time of year on Christmas. So I feel like that can enhance any kind of love story, and especially when it's a story of a guy who hasn't been home in a while returns home. Might as well make it Christmas. It makes it mean a little bit more.
I guess it would be one thing though if he went home for Christmas on purpose, but his plane landed because somebody microwaved tinfoil. So it's kind of weird, but you mentioned the whole being home for the holidays thing. That's a feeling that I want to ask you about. What's your take on the home for holidays things? I know Thanksgiving's like a big holiday that people get back together. We just passed Thanksgiving. People get together at the bar, right? I forgot what the name of the bar was in this place, but you know, there's a whole certain
the Maple
high school
Tavern
reunion.
or something like that.
Yeah, like there's sort of a whole high school reunion aspect of being home for the holidays. I mean, you don't really go home like when you're in college. You don't see your college people unless you went to college in your hometown. Yeah. What's your perspective on the whole being home for the holidays, like nostalgic feeling?
Maybe it's just my personality, but you know, I couldn't care less about it. Honestly, I feel like there's a joke to be said where a lot of people dread it. It's all antisocial behavior, and I think there's a majority of this that are somewhat antisocial about not wanting to like pop in the bar and say, "Oh, hey, there's Ed," and "Oh, there's Steve. Hey, what's going on? I haven't seen you in 5 years. What's going on?" Like that kind of thing. I think there's a lot of antisocialism that goes on there, and I'm certainly suffer from it big time to where like I just don't want to even have that conversation. I don't even want to fake it.
Yeah, I mean my perspective is like we've known each other since high school. Like the people that I want to see, it's not a reunion because I just see them because I want to talk to them.
Because you'll carve out time to either see them throughout the years.
We're still friends.
Yeah, even if it's once a year or even a couple times a year, or you'll make it a case to like catch up with each other through text and not just like, oh, hey, it's been 5 years. What's going on? Oh, you're married now? That kind of thing. It's like, who wants to have that conversation? Who cares about it?
What do you think? Has Christmas changed for you over the years? So when you're a kid, obviously Christmas is a very cool holiday because you're getting presents and there's other aspects to it, seeing your family. Like the older I get, it does change for me a little bit. And has it changed for you? Like, do you look forward to Christmas the way that you used to? Maybe even when we did those original episodes, like has that changed for you at all?
I don't know if it's changed so much for me in the last 6 years or not, but yeah, there's certainly a pre adult and post-adult Christmas feeling. But then you got the kids, and then you got the nieces and nephews and all that, And the receiving turns into the giving and all that, and it's equally nice. But sure, it loses some magic. Absolutely.
I think having the kids in the life makes a big difference too, because you go from that lull where it's like, if I need something, I'll just buy it for myself. Like I don't, and then now with the kids, like you said, going from the receiving to the giving, that definitely adds an aspect of it to me. I mean, having the kids in our life, like it makes a big difference to me, I think.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for like being at a house that's all dressed up for Christmas and you got a Christmas party. Like, yeah, that's a nice feeling to be like at someone's house or someone's at your house for Christmas, and it's 2:00 and you're sitting there and the ambiance is playing and the kids have ripped open their gifts and they're having a good time. Like that's like you sit there and you look around, it's like, this is nice.
It gives me a reason to have the TV on with the 4K fireplace going.
Yeah.
That's my that's my pre-Christmas stuff.
Like you can appreciate it. I feel like there's an excitement when you're a kid, but then there's an appreciation when you're an adult,
Yeah. Well, we talked about the war on Thanksgiving. It doesn't exist anymore because you just like immediately after Halloween, there's Christmas decorations up. I used to get bothered by it, but actually I don't really mind anymore because I'm just like, why not? Let people enjoy it. Like I enjoy it, whatever,
Sure.
Let's talk a little bit about the people in this movie. Chris Brander and Jamie Palomino. You mentioned them in the synopsis.
Jamie Palomino.
Let's go back to the 90s, Badway. I'm talking All for One. I'm talking, singing R&B songs, All
Mortal
for One.
Kombat theme.
Exactly. How did they become friends? Like, so they're clearly best friends, right? He's a platonic friend. How did these two become friends? Was this like a lifelong friendship?
I don't know, man. It just seems like, either the phrase 2 peas in a pod, that kind of thing. They seemed to be 2 peas in a pod. They were not next door neighbors, but she was girl next door. They seemed to have the same goofy, sense of humor. And it's one of those things where they probably were friends in elementary school. And, you get that platonic boy-girl friendship. And then it just grows into a friendship, then not really a relationship, unless one or the other makes a move.
What do you think? I mean, what do you think she was like in high school? So they portray her as he's obsessed with her, right? And she's, an attractive, nice girl, it seems. Like, Is she popular? Like, they didn't really say, but they kind of did. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so he's an overweight, goofy kid, and she is portrayed as, and they didn't really go through this explicitly, but like, I feel like she's like one of the popular girls in school, but she's not, like a stereotypical mean girl type popular girl. She's just friends with everyone, super good looking, maybe prettiest girl in school kind of thing, dates all the football players, that kind of thing. She's a cheerleader. He's a cheerleader. Yeah, she's dating random dudes from the football team, it seems, and he just never expressed his feelings. And then so he's just, stuck being the platonic friend who never laid it on the line, never took a chance, and they just grew and grew into a friendship that never went anywhere beyond that.
So you mentioned maybe he never told her, but how many times do you think he's tried to tell her? Has he ever, like, is this the culmination of multiple times, or is this the only time?
To me, it's 0. I think it's 0. I feel like he had no backbone to do it until he finally, like, I'm sure he's wanted to do it, but I'm sure he never attempted it until this scene at the party.
What was his plan?
His plan was to write this very heartfelt message in her yearbook saying, "Oh, I signed your yearbook. Here, take a look." And he went to her house thinking it was going to be just him, her, and their 2 other friends. When he shows up at the house, it's like a banging,
It's a rager.
It's a banging rager graduation party full of like all the jocks and dipshits you could possibly have.
Kind of the ballin' ass fun times award party there.
Yeah, so it turned into his nightmare. So yeah, that was it. And you could question that it was a good idea or not to do it that way, but he certainly should have thrown the yearbook in the trash as soon as he saw it was a party, because that's not the place to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge risk, wasn't it? Like, you have a ticking time bomb there. Like, you're just asking for Tim from the football team to steal that and read it aloud to the entire party. You're asking for that to happen. I mean, what do you think of the party? We talked about this, I think, when we did some other movies here, but how would you rate that party?
Oh, I mean, the party, it didn't seem all that hot. I don't know. I would give it a 6 out of 10 on the Rager scale, right?
So she saw that party. I mean, it's not like in Malibu Hills.
No. snowshoes
talking
on
about
that party.
Jersey here, so.
It's no Can't Hardly Wait. There's nothing crazy going on there.
We're talking about Jersey.
It's Jersey. Yeah.
We're gonna get so much crap for the Jersey bash in here, but
Look,
you know, it is
we're
what it is.
basically Jersey, all right? We're
allowed.
We're on the sliver. It's fine.
We're allowed.
It's cool.
We're allowed.
Even though they're Jersey scum, it's fine. We're on the good side.
How many people hit unsubscribe right now?
I don't know.
Of that.
Of our 12 subscribers, Drew, how many come from Jersey?
I'm sorry.
Wouldn't it be funny if
listeners.
Wouldn't it be funny if it were all of them?
No, you know what's funny? I have family in New Jersey, and when I rip on New Jersey, they get so mad, and it's like a joke, but it's not a joke to them, and my family gets so mad, and it's kind of funny to me, to be honest.
You know, while we're on the subject of Jersey, Drew, you know what bugged me about this movie is like,
what?
I know it wasn't shot in Jersey, but still, like, it's being portrayed as Jersey.
Yeah.
Do they have snowplows in New Jersey? Because
Dude.
Like, there was not one snowflake falling from the sky in this movie, but the entire movie, there was snow on the streets.
Yo, that's one thing I'm going to give New Jersey and the Northeast a lot of credit.
Yeah.
The plowing is pretty top notch for the most part. Like, unless you get some random side street, those roads are plowed pretty good. Now, you go down south and maybe where they don't get snow much, and that's where you'd see that. Or maybe you go way up north. They're in Saskatchewan filming this thing, but the lack of plowing was very un-Jersey-like. I got to give New Jersey DOT some props.
So I never drove in Jersey during a snowstorm, or like days after. This was like a week in the town, right?
Yeah.
And like on the main road, there was still visible snow on the streets, the main streets of this town.
It wasn't a little bit, too.
It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And it just, to me, I felt like, it's just lazy Jersey. Maybe the plow just didn't make it.
I have driven there in the snowstorm, and they're pretty top notch with it.
They're on point.
Honestly.
They're on point. Okay.
Don't you remember that time we were driving back from Atlantic City, and you were driving in your car, and it was snowing, and that guy passed you in the left, like flying, and then we drove like an hour later, and he was flipped upside down, and there was a tow truck.
Yeah. That's
Do you remember
awesome.
that?
That's right.
I mean, the guy wasn't hurt, thank God, but
no, but that's what you get. That's what you get. That's what you get.
I mean, he was driving like crazy. We were on the New Jersey Turnpike there. Do you remember that?
That's right. That is right.
Speaking of Jersey, but no, back to the thing you mentioned. You know, he had his yearbook. He wrote this note in the yearbook. He was asking for this guy to take it. So what I want to ask you is, let's say that this plan was successful. She was going to tell him she wanted to be friends anyway, but what's worse for him, this guy, Tim, the captain of the football team or whoever, right, to read this yearbook and this message to the entire party, the entire bald ass fun time raging party, versus him reading it to her directly? Like, what would the reaction be?
The party's
Better or
definitely worse. Are you kidding me?
Is
That's
it?
like laying your heart on the line. You know, imagine Preston's note to what's her face, to Jamie, to what's her face from
Can't Hardly Wait.
Imagine if that note were to be read out loud in front of everyone. I mean, that would have been embarrassing. Like, you don't want that. You don't want your laundry aired out like that. I still think it would have been no either way. But I think the moment he saw that she was drunk, like that's no. That's a no. You don't shoot your shot when she's drunk.
It was, the whole thing was just like not a great situation, and he should have aborted immediately. Yeah. And I kind of feel bad for him, but in a way I don't. It's like, you got to find a better way to do it, man. Yeah. You can't be doing it at that
He should have done it a longer time ago than after graduation, and she couldn't have been nicer about it too. I don't want to get it twisted. She couldn't have been nicer about it. She was very sweet, and she politely shot him down in private outside. It's not like she said no in the middle of the party. So, well,
let me ask you this, right? And maybe this is a good segue to it, but is she at fault for not noticing that he liked her? Like, were the signs obvious?
That's hard to say. I'm going to say no, because
I agree.
She's been dating other men this whole time, and he's had no objections. I'm sure he's talked shit on all of her ex-boyfriends.
He's probably helped her in the relationships too, right?
He's been her shoulder to cry on, that whole deal. But maybe after one of those breakups, or maybe one too many guys break her heart, or bad relationship end, whether it's her fault, whether it's the other guy's fault, he could have started to lay down the foundation that he wants to take it further than a friendship, maybe try me on for size, but he never did. So how is it her fault? If he's showing no interest, who is she to just go on and live her life?
That's true. It's true. And I don't blame her at all.
And there's something to be said about her being, possibly the best looking girl in school, and him being kind of a weird guy, overweight, braces, bad teeth, that kind of thing, Brillo pad haircut. It's, the classic geek versus popular girl. Like, those two don't mix in a dating sense usually in high school, but you still take your shot, right? If you're that great, and they were great friends.
I don't blame him for trying, put it that way. I definitely don't. I mean, he liked her. You got to get it off your chest.
No, but he should have done it sooner.
I agree with that.
Yeah, waited way too long.
He waited too long. I mean, so he eventually grows up, and this whole movie, if you've never seen it, it's just centered around him going back to Jersey, like we talked about. But he has this situation where he's completely embarrassed by Tim reading this, and he basically says, "F you, I'll be successful." And this launches him into this. I don't know. I think he has an inferiority complex his entire life, and that's where he turns into this music agent. Like, what is he doing right now? I don't really like. Is he the agent? Is he the VP? Like, what's his job about?
He's a big wig at Red Bulb Records, Drew. Come on, what do you know about Red Bulb Records?
Sounds like it's not very successful, is what it would be.
Yeah, it seems like he's an agent, or a producer or some kind of signing talent. I don't think he's a VP or anything like that. I don't think he has that much pull, but he certainly has a high paying job. Working with celebrities, and it's kind of like his. He was morphed into this from this inferiority complex to move to Hollywood and be a big shot. That's kind of what he is.
What kind of agent do you think this guy is? Do you think he's good at his job?
Oh, yeah, because I think he's a smooth talker. He's a sweet talker. He tells everyone what he wants to hear. It's like, it's right. But that's the thing, though. So, like, he was, for lack of a better term, a geeky fat kid, right, in high school.
Right.
And then he just turned into Ryan Reynolds when he became an adult.
That's what I don't understand either.
A cocky, good-looking guy in good shape. Like, he just turned into Ryan Reynolds. How did this happen?
So, how do you think it happened? Did he immediately move out there? Like, what was the time?
Did he befriend Tucker Carlson? Like, how did this happen? Like, what happened? I don't understand.
What is the time of how he got out there? Like, I don't really get it. Did he leave immediately? Because he basically said, like, screw you, I'm out.
Like,
he rode his bike and he left.
I assume that he went to college in California and, like, he just stayed out there. He just applied, bada bing, bada boom, out he goes.
So do you think is he a good person or is he a bad person, or should we save this for later in the show? Because I have a lot of thoughts on this.
No, I think he's a good person who was burned by being a good person, whether it was rightfully so or not. I don't think it was anybody's fault, but he learned a hard lesson that the nice guy finishes last, and then he has to, put on a facade to, check everyone else's feelings at the door and look out for number one, that kind of thing.
What do you think? I mean, they show him in a variety of scenarios here where he's sort of womanizing. He's dating some of these girls. He's pretending he doesn't care. He's doing the Ryan Reynolds shtick, for lack of a better word.
Is he womanizing, though? Is he, though? Or is he just dating around?
They didn't go into it. You could
say womanizing. You could say dating around. He's hitting on women, but he's not misrepresenting himself, I feel.
What do you think of his dating rule? You can't take a girl out for lunch. It sends the wrong signal. What do you think the truth of that? You think it's true?
Yeah, that might be oversimplifying things, but I don't know. I think a first date, you could do lunch, right?
I mean, I guess it depends on where you're going to go and what the activity is.
Yeah. Like,
what kind of date is it, is the question. Like, if you're going to, like, the Pottery Barn or something, like, shopping at lunch, like, I don't know. Yeah. But that versus, like, a meal? Like,
I don't know. Shopping for furniture at the Pottery Barn does sound like a friend thing to do.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But if you go to have, like, let's say you go ice skating at lunch, that's okay. Yeah. That's like activity that you do together.
I don't know, that's kind of weird too, right, though?
Ice skating at lunch?
Ice skating at lunch.
I mean, he does that.
It's not very romantic, is it?
So what's a romantic lunch activity? Maybe it's impossible. Maybe it doesn't exist.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe a nice lunch at a fancy place. And then it's like, I don't know.
What about a movie?
Maybe he's right. What are you going to a movie at 2 p.m.? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is this?
You proved him right. Yeah. You just proved him right.
I think he's right. Maybe he's right.
Because like a 2 p.m. movie, you're gonna go see like Happy Feet, or you're gonna like, what do you see at 2 p.m.? No, I'm an old man, right? I want to go to the movies at 9 a.m. Get me
that's fine.
Out of there.
That's different. Yeah, but
it's not a date.
But if you're going on a date, or if you're going to see it with a woman who is, you're hoping to not just be your friend, You wouldn't say, "Oh, let's go see Happy Feet at noon." You know?
So this, if you're in a relationship already,
Yeah.
the date can be whatever time, right? Like when you and I, we're partners in life here. We're friends here. We go watch a movie at like 9:05 a.m. because I want the theater empty.
Yes.
Back when we used to go to the movies.
Yeah, you don't want to hear people talking. Yeah.
But if you're dating somebody, so let's say before you date them, if you take them to the movies at 9:05 a.m.
Yeah, you're sending the wrong signal. It's true.
You're gonna go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, you're trying to be her grandfather or something, right? You and I go to the movies at 10 a.m. It's for the movie.
And
$5. If you go to a movie with another woman you do not want to just be friends with, the activity is not about the movie. Even though it's funny that the idea of going on a date to sit in silence for 2 hours is kind of strange to begin with, no matter what time of day it is.
You're right.
Still,
You're right.
It's like, rather it be done at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. and not 11 a.m.
But do you do dinner first or after?
What do you do with the rest of the day?
That's what it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Then you go to dinner after? But then, like, you're right. But if you're in the relationship already, right? Let's say you're like married or you're dating somebody. Can you go to a 10 a.m. movie?
Sure.
Or does it depend on how early in the relationship
because
it is?
the courtship is over. You go to lunch, you go to breakfast, you have every meal with your wife, right?
Well,
It doesn't matter what time of day.
Yeah. Like, hey, want to go to the movies at 9:05 when nobody will be there? It's like
it's
hear
not
people
like
crinkling wrappers.
Yeah, it's not like a date night. Like, you say you want to have a date night with your wife. You have a kid now. You have a kid. Say you want to have a sitter. You have date night. That's one thing. But if it's like, oh, let's go see this movie at 11 a.m., drop the kid off at the parents' house, that's just going to see a movie. There's a movie and then there's date night.
I want to see what happens if let's say the first date, like what if you throw the other person off? So if you're a girl or whoever you're dating, right, whoever it is, how much are you going to throw somebody off if you ask them for a first date to go to like a 10 a.m. movie? Or like a 9:05, like the minute they open.
I feel
is that
like
a no?
I feel like she declines. Like, I don't even think it's the weirdness wouldn't even start
Unless it's a really good movie and they just want to see it anyway, I guess.
Now, on the other hand, us being 30 somethings, right, at this point in our lives, we could get away with this in our like teens and 20s.
Yeah.
But if we were to go together by ourselves, just you and I, to a 9 p.m. Friday night movie, that would be weird.
Yeah,
right?
maybe it would. I mean, we've done it.
But me and you, 30-somethings, going together on a Saturday at 10 a.m. is not weird.
Well, because we got the whole day ahead of ourselves then,
But us doing it at 9 p.m. as 30-somethings together, that would be like, hey, what's going on with those guys?
Yeah, I guess we're on a date.
Not to assume anything. Like, that's fine. You can do whatever. Like, that, I'm not bashing that. But
it's more acceptable for you and me to go at 10.
You're opening yourself up to questions if you do that, is all I'm saying.
How many dates has this guy been on with these rules? Like, so he's got these rules. Like, is he successful?
I get the impression that he's just his whole high school career he's taken Jamie Palomino to lunches and not dinners. I don't know. It's just been a lifetime of lunches. A lifetime of lunches. I don't know.
Let's talk about his attempts to woo her, right? And not to jump all over the place, but he winds back up in Jersey throughout the movie, and he's learned these lessons, he's learned these rules. Now he's got to try to win her over. So he wants to take her to dinner. She wants to go to lunch. He's doing a whole bunch of things. He winds up at this old diner that they're at. Like, what do you think of his attempts? Like, how would you rate this? Because this shows whether he's truly a womanizer or whether he's really just Chris Brander, geeky guy from high school that just happens to be a hotshot now. Like, how would you rate his attempts?
Yeah, so like his first quote-unquote date with her as a new man, so to speak, goes terribly wrong just because he's trying too hard to be the jerk that he thought that she went for back in high school. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he even says like, oh, I'm going to give her what she wants. She'll be eating out of the palm of my hands, which is like insanely cocky to say.
But like, I feel like that works for the Hollywood scene because the type of girls that he's after in Hollywood are looking for his money and his good looks and his high profile job. And it's very superficial. Yes. Whereas Jamie Palomino is a quote unquote regular girl, right?
Yeah.
From a very different world. I mean, Jersey's more than a stone's throw away to California. And the same douche moves don't work. They're just douchey, right?
Yeah, I mean, he rents a Porsche with like snow chain tires, which is like, it's like sliding all over the place. Like he thinks that's going to win her over. Like, and he's answering phone calls in the middle of the date thinking that makes him look cool.
Again, in fairness, those roads should have been plowed, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, answering a phone call in the middle of the date thinking that makes you look cool.
Yeah.
Like, is that how out of touch he is? Like, he really isn't good at picking women up. He thinks he is, or is it just
he doesn't
does
have to
that work
try.
on someone else?
He doesn't have to try in Hollywood because it's money, job, looks, and that's as far as it goes.
I mean, I don't know. So let's say that this worked with him. Let's say this all worked, and he successfully, picked her up after the first date. He hooked up with her. Whatever he was attempting to do. Do you think he would have just moved on after this? Like, what was his end game here?
I don't think so. Yeah, I feel like he probably would have caught feelings, but if the douche angle would have worked on her, maybe he would have been justified in thinking that she was a bad person for not thinking of him as a potential boyfriend material back 10 years ago. So I know I just answered the question double-sided. So
no, you didn't.
So I don't know. Well, I'm going to defer to you, and maybe I'll piggyback off of that.
Well, I think he would have caught feelings too. I do agree with you. He had this idea that he's going to be a jerk, and I think this plays into a theory that I have when you start talking about Dinkelman, as we heard in the beginning, comparing the two, which we'll get to in a bit. But I think he's a bad person throughout this movie, but he's kind of an idiot bad person. Like he's not bad on purpose per se, even though that doesn't make sense because he's purposely being bad. But I think he doesn't really want to be a bad person. He thinks it's what she wants, to your point earlier. Yeah. And he thinks it's going to work. And he's like, you can see as he starts to unravel throughout the movie, he's not actually a bad person. Like he kind of forced himself into this persona. He's like
nervous to the point of being sick, kind of.
Yes.
From the very beginning in front of her, because he still has feelings for her big time. But yeah, I think that now that I hear what you said, that I digested what I said, I'm leaning more towards if she would have fallen for his jerk persona, then she wouldn't have been worth pursuing in his eyes, I feel. But the fact that she was kind of like disgusted by his rudeness and his Hollywood dickery, I think that like made him realize, okay, all right, well, maybe she's not, the superficial person that I thought she was when I ran away from her 10 years ago.
I mean, he whiffed multiple times here, like trying to go for this. Like, do you think it's realistic that somebody like Jamie Palomino, who is a school teacher, who seems like a nice person for all intents and purposes, would actually give this guy multiple chances, even though they were best friends, right? They had a history, but he was doing some pretty stupid crap to her.
Okay. There's a couple things at play here. So, first of all, when he left and never came back, I don't know. Let's I don't know. This might be very hard to do, but we'll try this exercise.
I'm up for the challenge.
How long have we been friends? And we've been friends since, I don't know, 2002.
2002? Yeah.
2002,
it's a long time.
right? So that's, I don't even know
do the math.
Right? That's crazy. This is year 19, Drew.
Yeah.
19 years we've known each other. Let's say in 2012 I moved to Colorado, right?
Yep.
And I just cut all time. We don't text. We don't talk. We don't talk on social media. We just flat out just do not talk to each other in any way, shape, or form for a decade.
You're a ghost.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I show back up in 2021. It's going to be different, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Things are going to be
you're a different
weird.
Person.
And even though we were very good friends for those 10 years from 2002 to 2012, I show up from a 9-year hiatus of zero contact, and I'm an asshole. In the first 2 hours you meet me, you're probably done with me, right?
I would agree with that. I'll probably be like, man, Badway's changed.
Yeah, it's not the guy I remember.
Badway's changed.
Now that I think about it, was even that great to begin with.
As our friend would say, Julio would say, Badway's acting different lately. Badway's acting different lately.
Badway's acting different lately. Yeah. So maybe you're right. Maybe First of all, 10 years of ghosting Jamie after they were clearly the best of friends, right? That's messed up, isn't it?
It kind of is messed up. But maybe because of the way that it went down, where he was so embarrassed, he left on a weird note because of the embarrassment.
But that's the town. She did nothing to egg on that embarrassment. All she did was politely call him her best friend, but
which
not
you can't blame
a lover.
her.
Yeah,
I mean, she wasn't into him.
Yeah,
That's
she
fair.
was not. She did not play into or have any role, and she was even yelling at the people who were making fun of her.
Yeah,
but fun of him. So she did nothing wrong. All she did was be a great friend to him. Now, maybe she was a little naive about his feelings, but again, that's his fault for not showing her his feelings. You can't blame her for having a friend and wanting a friend.
True.
And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. But I'm rambling because it's 2 a.m. But I think it's unrealistic. It's hard. It's hard because the feelings are on the line. But the ghosting for 10 years, yeah, maybe she should have quit after one date. So one bad date.
Do you think that she maybe had feelings for him too? Because so think about it this way. She's been through some bad relationships, as she said. She's grown and matured. She realized maybe what she wants in her life. Yes. She knows that Chris was a nice guy.
Yeah.
He was a nice person at the time, right?
Yep.
He comes back. He looks a lot different. He looks maybe attractive to her at this point, and she's pairing the old personality and the old friendship. When she sees him right in the bar, she's shaking the martini shaker or whatever, the drink shaker. And then she gets embarrassed because she looks at him. He looks at her, and she catches maybe a feeling deep down there, in her stomach, like butterflies.
Yeah, but that lunch kills it all because she's initially she's taken back by his looks plus her thoughts of him during their heyday.
Yeah.
Then she goes to lunch with him and realizes this is not the same guy. I don't care that he looks good now. He's an asshole. And she was done with him there. But the fact that he came back, tail between the legs, and kind of indirectly, kind of quietly asked for the second date, sneakily. I think that's fair that she gave him a second chance. I mean, and then he did a little better every time. He
did a little bit until Dusty got involved.
Yeah. So all of the credit that he accrued from their great, childhood friendship allowed him extra chances, I feel. Just because he was showing gradual improvement back to the person that he was.
We're treating him like good for you, buddy. Like, you did great. He did so bad.
Well, because he was so terrible at befriending her. He really was.
I mean, I want to talk about one of the worst situations that the kid's hockey game. I don't know where else to even talk about this because it doesn't fit anywhere, but he's trying to impress her by playing hockey. I mean, there's a list of violations of things. So he's trying to impress her by answering the phone at lunch, which is what is he talking about? Like dumping on how he eats healthy. Now he doesn't want to eat waffles. Yeah. Like he's a complete, like you said it, a douche. So what's this whole thing with the hockey thing? He's trying to play against kids. Are you supposed to win? Is he thinking that if he kicks these kids' asses, he's going to win? And he's going to win her over? She's a teacher. She teaches these kids. Shouldn't he be teaching them how to play? I know they're antagonizing him, but...
Well, they were hacking him. Come on, man. There were cheap shots all over the place. Where's the ref? Man?
Well, it was that other teacher guy that was yelling at him for nothing.
Yeah. He is in a no-win situation.
Is it true that if you're a good skater, you can skate on anything, even those rentals?
I think so. He's got to drop the excuses. Come on.
Have you ever ice skated before, by the way?
Once, and I hit my head. I'm not good at the winter sports, Drew, as we learned.
So you broke your arm snowboarding the first time, and you got a concussion probably from ice skating. Did you have rentals?
Yeah, sure.
It's the rentals, man.
Yeah, sure.
I skated too.
But I was a novice.
You can't be a novice. You need sharp skates.
My whole family, they had rentals too. My sister might have had her own skates, but you didn't see them busting their head.
Did you have a major injury or did you just fall? Were you out?
I didn't have a diagnosed concussion. This is the NFL in the 90s. It wasn't diagnosed, but it happened.
He'll be fine. You didn't know where you were. It's he'll be fine. Skate it off. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think you're right. I think she gave him multiple chances because of the friend credit. But one of the other aspects of this that we didn't really talk about is the fact that he also had sort of a pseudo girlfriend that was with him, Samantha James.
Yeah.
We got to talk about her.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she wasn't really portrayed as his girlfriend, but she's a very sexual being, so
That's what you could call it.
Yeah.
She called, like, I mean, she kind of called herself, right? Because she shows up to the bar and he's sort of with her, but not really. And he's embarrassed by her, but he's trying to act normal. I mean, I gotta give Anna Faris credit for her performance here. She was great.
And can we just like take this opportunity to like, who wasn't good in this movie? Like,
you're right.
This was a very well cast and well acted movie all the way around from people who aren't known for being like super great actors.
Right.
Like a Chris Klein, like Anna Faris, like they're fine. Like Ryan Reynolds is always great.
Even Amy Smart was great in this too.
Amy Smart, like she's just a regular, she's in rom-coms and comedies. She's fine, but she's not great. But this is probably her best acting job to date, I feel.
I thought she was great.
Everybody did a great job in this movie.
Even
but yeah,
the
Anna
big
Faris,
characters.
Yeah, the brother,
his mom.
The mom. Like it was all great, but like Anna Faris, I feel like maybe went above and beyond here as this outrageous pop star.
I saw, this is one trivia I will read to you guys. There was something about on IMDb where they said to keep up with the continuous aggressiveness and hysterics, Anna Faris was continually drinking Red Bulls before filming. Like, can you imagine like her just like caffeined out, like just tweaking out like crazy?
Just pounding Red Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so talk about Samantha James a little bit. He tries to sign her to a record contract because his boss wants him to. And the whole point of this movie is they were traveling to Paris. Who, like, is she really a singer? Like, they had her doing work in the studio. Like, what's her deal?
I wasn't sure because, like, they originally showed her, like, as, like a poster girl to horny teens. They showed her, like, on this PR trip in Africa on, like, some kind of commercial or something. I wasn't sure if she was, like, a pop singer or if she was a generic celebrity.
That's, like, trying to make an album?
Like, in the Paris Hilton world of it all. A model or something who's like trying to make an album. Like, how that works. I didn't know if that was the case or if music was her thing, because when we see her in the studio, she's such a terrible singer. But, that could be fixed in the studio. Like,
that could be fixed.
So.
What'd you think of her poster? Would you put that on your wall?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Like all the teenage boys. I can imagine why she'd be popular.
Whipped cream bikini and all,
especially with the banana. Yeah. But so who would you say her modern day equivalent is? Like what would you compare her to? Call her a singer. Like who would you say she is?
So my first feeling was this will date me to this time period of the mid aughts, but I thought Kesha, who people might not know who that is right now. It depends on how old you are. And then also I got early Miley Cyrus vibes. Mid 2000s Wrecking Ball, Miley Cyrus vibes, like trying to push the envelope.
I'm pretty sure when she was at that metal factory, they called her Ashley Simpson, which was who I was thinking about. Especially that infamous SNL skit where she's like lip syncing and then she just dances it off. That was like that's such a cringe video. Yeah. But so they said that Chris dated her before. He went on one date and he wound up in the hospital. Like what happened? I need to speculate about this. Was this a bedroom injury? Was this some type of injury? Like what happened to him when he dated her?
She's got swings or something, man. I don't know. Maybe she's got swings. I like to think that maybe he drugged her, or he drugged her. She drugged him.
She drugged him,
and then almost died because of it. That's the type of thing that I think could happen. Where it's like to her, X amount of drugs is normal. But to a regular person, it's lethal. That kind of thing.
I thought it was an interesting concept about how he kept pawning her off on his brother, who is an underrated character, as you said. He's really good. He was in The Girl Next Door, one of our old episodes. Again, we'll link it in the show notes. But great character, great relationship with his brother. He obviously had a crush on her. What do you think would have happened? Like, do you think she would have went through and actually hooked up with this guy? Like, what would have happened there? So
he was the de facto chaperone for her. So like when Ryan Reynolds tried to pawn her off while he was trying to win over Jamie. So the one scene in the bedroom where I felt like she was kind of messing with his brother and saying, "Oh, I'm so horny and I'm bored. My back hurts. Give me a back rub." Like, I wonder if Chris didn't bust through that door, would things have gone to the next level, or was she messing with him?
It's hard to tell because she's like a loose cannon.
Yeah.
I think she would have went through with it personally. I don't think she would have stopped.
I would have thought that she would consider him gross and not wanting to do that.
She's stuck in Jersey, man.
I know. Even though she's bored.
I mean, what do you think of her at the metal bar playing Forgiveness? Like, could she have turned that gig around?
First of all,
she's playing this song. I mean, come on.
Yeah, first of all, Forgiveness slaps, in my opinion. As
the young folk would say.
Yeah, it slaps. No, I think Forgiveness could be a good song, if properly produced, but it's not the type of song you play at the metal bar. You play something else, man.
Listen, man, Extreme's got more than words. They're hair metal. They can play that. They're gonna bust out more than words.
Extreme has dozens of rockin' solo face melters, Drew.
Was it Mr. Big, man? Mr. Big.
But when they play at the Metal Factory, they leave more than words in the bag. They leave it at the door.
Ballads, man. You
don't play it. You just don't play it. Like if Metallica is in some cellar playing the old hits, playing Ride the Lightning, they are not gonna bust out. They're not going to bust out the ballads, all right?
They might. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, could she have turned it around? Like, what would have actually happened if she was there? Because, like, you said this before we recorded. She's kind of metal in her own way.
She is. She's kind of punk. She can be punk. She has an attitude for sure. But just don't play Forgiveness. Just play something else. Play something that rocks, man.
That's all she could
have won him over. I don't know. I don't know. If Britney Spears was up there, she would have gotten roasted too.
We can't do this episode and not talk about her, but the other man of the hour that we absolutely have to talk about before we get out of here is, I got a couple things. I think we need to figure out, is there a villain in this movie?
Yes.
I think it's Dusty Dinkelman, but maybe we could argue that it's Chris Brander. So maybe we pull a villain scale and we try this here, but you mentioned performances. How would you rate Chris Klein's performance here on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh man, easy 8+.
Easily.
It's just, I wish there was more of them, but I guess maybe less is more. I don't know. But you don't expect it from Chris Klein because he's not very good, is he?
No.
Like he's clearly the worst actor of the American Pie bunch. That's like hands down. He's got that awful Street Fighter under his gig.
There's like a super cut of some of those lines, and I don't know if it's the directing or what, but it's pretty cringe.
Yeah, but this
the
is like
Mia audition.
This is right up his alley, like pretending to be a good guy, but actually being a womanizing, awful person is really like, it's clearly right up his alley.
Do you think he's actually a good guy? And maybe we should just put him through the scale. You tell me which way we should do this, but do you think he's a good guy?
I have an interesting thought about Dusty because he tries so hard to act like a good guy to pick up Jamie Palomino when he's clearly just trying to get into her pants, like maliciously.
Yeah.
He spends 90 to 95% of his entire day doing good deeds. Like he's an EMT driver. He's playing concerts for kids. He's writing songs. He's doing favors for old ladies. Like, this is his whole day. On the outside, he's the greatest guy ever, and it takes up a lot of his time. But like, his real person is this awful person. But he doesn't. He shows so little of that he actually is a good guy by accident.
He's accidentally becoming a good guy by trying to be a jerk.
He's accidentally a great guy because he spends an inordinate amount of time being good, but is actually deep down it's all a trick. But because he does so many good things, he's playing himself.
So how do you compare him to Chris Brander, right? Which is sort of the opposite, where Chris is sort of a good guy trying to be a bad guy. I think in the beginning of the movie, if you haven't seen this, he also has a crush on Jamie Palomino, and he comes in and he tries to play a song when Jamie smiles, as Badway said, slaps. But he I never said that slaps. Miserably.
That song doesn't slap.
Sorry, the other song. Yeah. So when Jamie smiles, maybe it slaps, maybe it doesn't. It's on Simply Dusty track 3.
We'll see what the studio cut sounds like. Yeah.
But the crux of this thing is that he had acne, he had long stringy hair, he totally was also kind of geeky, really
very awkward. Couldn't get a sentence out without stuttering.
He grows up, he changes his name from Dusty Dinkelman to Dusty Lee. He's got this whole persona that Badway just walked everybody through here. Like, how is he playing the game versus a Chris Brander? Like you said, he's spending his time doing good stuff. Chris Brander's like trying to be a bad guy, but maybe he's deep down a good guy. Like, I don't know if Dusty's really a bad person. I think he is.
Deep down, Chris Brander is a good guy with a complex, from childhood trauma.
Yeah.
But in his soul, he is a good person. And everything malicious or, unkind that he does is out of awkwardness, I guess I would say, and not really from like a mean-spirited place, right? So,
like, would you fall for this if you were like, would you see through it? Could you see through it? Because I think he does a good job.
I don't know if there's like a female version of Dusty Dinkelman, then yeah, I'd probably fall right for it. Sure, fall right into that trap. I'd be another bee in the hive, Drew.
What if we just throw him through the scale here? Like, I don't know if this makes sense. Let's try it because.
Sure.
Let's see, we have to test whether he's villainous or not. So if you're new to the show or you're returning, we got a villain scale that we do. It's got 4 categories: look, style, hideout layer, plan, henchman, and a bonus for ruthlessness. I don't know that he's truly a villain, but we should try Dusty through this and let's see. And it's a scale of 1 to 10. So just from his look and style, and we'll rate their current day, right? We can't rate their old times because it's got to be current day.
Yeah.
How would you rate this guy's look and style? Does he have any pony? He doesn't have a ponytail. Does he have any accessories? Like, what do you think of him?
Well, I don't know, man. That guitar counts, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the guitar counts. Does the ambulance count?
That's his layer.
Or is that his layer? Okay.
I mean, does he still ski in his jeans? Because that's like either a plus or a minus. I don't know. Does he have snow pants now? Does he have the snowboard pants?
I feel like he has snow pants now. No, but yeah, his look and style. I mean, he's a good looking man. He cleaned up the acne, right? He cut his hair. He has, was wearing a cool leather jacket. I think he was wearing a leather jacket.
He's got like a bomber jacket.
Got a bomber jacket or something. Yeah. I don't know. I think his look is a 3. I mean, he has nothing special, but he's got the guitar. Cleaned himself up.
If you have a CD of yourself called Simply Dusty,
yeah,
I mean that kind of contributes to your style, right?
That's an accessory.
That's a 3.
Yeah, that's
I'll
an
go
accessory.
with that.
Yeah.
So then, what about his hideout and his lair? Like, we don't see his house. Like, maybe he's like Christian Grey over here. And he's got like a sex dungeon.
I feel like he lives like in a dump, but like he doesn't show anyone the dump. I feel like he puts every dollar he has into his facade, right?
He's got a Prius.
This little Japanese beauty here,
Japanese princess.
Japanese princess is a Prius. I don't know. I'll give him a 2 because he rides around an ambulance. So that's something.
I could ask a few questions here about this, but I'm not going to because I don't want to go there about the ambulance. But I'm just going to leave it at that. So I think that's fair. Let's give him a 2. What about his plan? So he doesn't have a plan for domination of the world, but it's domination of, I guess, of the females. He's trying to tell me.
You might butt heads with me on this, but I think it's a 5. I think it's one of the few villain plans that actually gets a 5 because he has a goal of making himself look wholesome and good to the outside world, and he dives so deep into it that he doesn't realize that he's using all of his time to look good. He actually is good, but he's not good.
He's like in
so
the
I'm going to give it a 5.
Here. He's
but
undercover.
But that other 5 to 10% is so evil, and it's actually him that he can bust it out when he knows it's time to drop anchor and leave a situation, or pull anchor. I should say.
I'm not going to disagree with you because when you look at how ruthless this dude is, like the second Jamie rejects him, he's like, whatever, F this, I'm mobile. That's his line.
The whole movie, he went all out to show how good of a guy he is. Countless hours of volunteering for children, for churches, ambulance driver. The second Jamie said, "Oh, we're just friends," to him, he's like, "F this, I'm mobile."
But
so, like, we know the bad guy's in there, but he spent so much time acting like he was good. Like that's. You can't fault the plan like that.
But here's where maybe his plan falls apart. I'm not going to take the point away. I'm going to give you the 5 because I agree with everything that you said. But I'm going to speculate for a second here. He's in a small town in Jersey.
Yeah.
So how long before it gets out that Dusty Lee is not a good guy?
Oh, he
kinda
gets
put
around.
This facade on, right?
Yeah,
Because
he gets around.
it's not that big of a town in Jersey here. It's kind of a small town. Like it's not Los Angeles or Philadelphia or New York City or something. It's not a big place. Like he's in a small. He's an EMT, right? He's going to see local people. Everyone thinks he's nice. He has a meltdown at the bar. He smacks some guy's girlfriend on the butt immediately after leaving, and then tries to fight the guy after. When he says after this I'm mobile, is he like mobile? He's off to the next town and he's going to be chameleon over there.
I get the feeling like, so I think maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like he also said this movie he recently got back into town.
Yeah, probably.
And he's only doing the EMT thing part time till his music career jumps off. So I think that he is kind of like, he is possible to be moving from town to town.
All right.
Maybe he stopped back home to see if he could get with Jamie, as a conquest before moving on to the next town.
I mean, he's definitely successful at this. Clearly, I mean, you saw the nurse. Was it Janice? Yeah. So she seems in the spell, in the love spell here.
When Janice smiles.
When Janice smiles, I mean, you could just repurpose it, right? Yeah. What it is. Yep. Does he have any henchmen? Does he have any muscle or sub bosses?
I don't know. Unless you remember anybody, I can't recall any henchmen. So I think it's a big fat 0, right?
It's a 0, right? Yeah. Is it a 0? We have a 1 to 5, so we got to go maybe 1, right?
I guess we got to give a 1 because
give a 1.
Yeah, lowest score possible.
So let's see. So if I recap, so look and style, he is a 3 for 2 for his layer, and then he's got his plan a 5, which I can't argue with you. He has one of the most thought out plans that we've seen on this show so far for what he's trying to accomplish. And then he's got a 1 for his henchman. Yeah. So what is that, an 11?
It's an 11. And so it's a low score. I think it's lower than most, but it's not embarrassingly low because of the plan. So he kind of redeemed himself there.
Do you want to put Ryan Reynolds here through this real quick?
Yeah, let's quickly do it just to see if he gets a higher than an 11, because I think that he was villainous for a large portion of this movie.
All right, I agree with you. Okay, so what about his look and style?
Now, oddly enough, his look and style is not villainous. So that should work to his detriment, right, as far as the score goes?
True. And like he's a good-looking guy because he's Ryan Reynolds, but he doesn't have anything like outstanding. He's got like the sweaters, I guess. Yeah,
but it doesn't like lead to villainy, right?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I would give it a 1,
2 or a 1.
I'd give it a 1 or a 2.
And his hideout and lair, like he has a rental Porsche. His house in Los Angeles is
his
pretty
house.
Pretty
his house
sweet.
is kind of a lair.
He's got his mom's house in Jersey.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to give him a 3.
I'd give him a 3 just for his lair in Hollywood. You could call that a lair because it's like something an evil villain could set up shop in.
What about his plan? Because to me, it's like the weakest that we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a 1. It's to act douchey in front of his one-time best friend for a decade plus,
and he fails at it miserably. Yeah. He succeeds in the end, but the whole attempt is a failure. He like accidentally figures it out.
Yeah.
And what about his henchman? I wouldn't consider Clark his henchman.
Yeah, Clark isn't really a henchman. His brother is a henchman.
Yeah.
Because his brother is parading around Samantha Jane and almost accidentally getting her killed a few times in the process.
You fall off the top story of a mall deck. I mean, I don't know if you're going to survive that hit.
And his brother does have, like, ulterior motives of, hooking up with her.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it makes him more formidable of a henchman than a 1.
I would say
he's
2.
He's kind of a weakling.
I would say 2.
Yeah. Okay.
And so speaking of Clark, right? We didn't even touch on this, Clark and Darla. I just have to say this for the record. Ryan Reynolds is, for all intents and purposes, a pretty terrible person when he goes back to town. He doesn't even give a crap about Clark. No. And Clark is like trying to be nice to him. Clark drives him all over the place. Like he doesn't care about Clark's kid. He doesn't care about anything. He's just so fixated on his own life.
Let me tell you, Clark and Darla seem like a delight. They seem like the
awesome
nicest people, right?
Yeah, I would be friends with them.
But he doesn't care at all. It's all about where's Jamie? Where's Jamie? What did Jamie say? What an ass. What an ass.
Yeah. I mean, it's messed up. Bad friend. Yeah. And maybe they weren't even really friends to begin with, but it's messed up.
And before we go, I don't know where else to stick this because I know we're running out of time here. Speaking while we're still like kind of on henchmen, we have to mention the relationship between Chris and his brother. And it's so hilarious to me. This physically violent relationship that they have, but they still love each other. They're both awful people in a way.
They are. Yeah. I like his brother though. He's hilarious to me.
Like Chris is actually a genuinely sweetheart, like underneath, But his brother is like, what's he gonna be like when he gets older?
He was stealing signs when we first meet him, right?
Yeah.
He had road signs.
Yep.
Like
He's a criminal in the making.
The scenes, yeah. So maybe he's the real boss of this. the best part to me of the whole brotherly scenes, and I don't know if you ever had this with your family. I know you have a sister, but like the whole him being on the phone while he's trying to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
This is obviously a 90s, 2000s thing before cell phones existed widely. Even though at the time they all had cell phones. He had a cell phone. Why did he have to call from the house? I don't understand. He had his cell phone in his pocket.
To make the joke.
But the joke was great, right? It was really funny and it was stupid. But so let me recap. So put Chris Brander through look and style as a 1, hideout and layers a 3. His plan is a 1, terrible plan, and his henchman is a 2 with the strong riding on the strong back of his brother. That's what, a 7 out of 20?
So that goes to show that he's not really a villain. But it was worth investigating. It was worth investigating.
Dinkelman is absolutely the villain. So before we get out of here, do you think that Chris and Jamie actually stay together? They get together in the end. Do you think it could work?
I'm torn on this. I mean, I want to say yes, because it was destined to be, 10 years in the making, 20 years in the making, I guess. I don't know. What do you say?
I don't think so, man. I don't think it's going to work.
Why not?
I don't think it's going to work. Because I think he's a nice guy, but he's got his LA record career. He's got this celebrity lifestyle that he lives. And Jamie just wants to start a family and be a teacher. Like, I don't think she wants that lifestyle. And I don't think that he's going to give that up after he worked probably really hard to get that. Yeah. And I think they're not, they might have had it a lot in common then, but I think Chris is more Hollywood than we see. Just because he's back in Jersey for Christmas, he gets all nostalgic. He's not giving up those Porsches. He's not giving up that Hollywood Hills house. And I don't think she's going to live that life. I don't think she's about that.
All right, counterpoint. He's not really Hollywood. He moved out there because he thought that he'll never find love, and so he has to act a certain way to get affection. But once he went back home and he worked things out with Jamie, he realized that he can still be the same person that he was. He doesn't have to be the douche Hollywood, agent thing. And she can move out to California and be a teacher, and they can live in his lair, so to speak. She doesn't have to stay in Jersey. I don't think she's tied to Jersey, and I think they could work it out there in California. We'll
see, man. I don't know. I'm not thinking that it's successful. I give it a year, and then I think they have their differences and they break up.
Yeah, I genuinely think that his time in Hollywood was just a big cover up, and there's the good person is still deep down inside.
I could see it. Yeah. But how's he going to win over Mr. Jamie Palomino's dad, or Mr. Jamie Palomino, her dad, whatever his name is?
Yeah, he could throw some money at him, buy his new Christmas,
give him some new Christmas lights.
Christmas light setup. It's fine.
I'm curious what everyone else thinks. Do you guys think that Chris and Jamie stay together? Could that relationship actually work? Send us an email, thelastropodcast@gmail.com. Send us a tweet at thelastropod, facebook.com. Leave a comment on the episode posting on our Facebook page. I'm curious. I just don't know what would happen, but I really don't think it would. Are you on Badway's side? Are you on my side? Let us know.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying this show, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Hit that 5-star review on Spotify if it's there for you. And we'll be back in 2 weeks on Thursday, January 6th. And we hope everybody has an awesome holiday. Thanks for listening to the show. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Merry
Happy holidays and a Happy New Year. And give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
So, when Jamie smiles, you're not a fan?
No, it sucks. Come on.
You can't see that.
Forgiveness
on
is
TV.
such a better song.
I mean, Forgiveness is pop bubblegum BS.
No, but when she remixed it at the end, when she met him at his house in LA, he didn't let her finish.
It was a lot better.
You know when she goes, "It's more than saying sorry, are you sorry?" Like that right there. The double "Are you sorry?" Instantly better. It really works.
Worst one yet.
We have yet to record an episode where we were like, we can't put that out.
I feel like, I don't want to sit here and say this, but I feel like it's impossible for us to have that because...
you say that while... First of all, that sentence has been recorded. It's being recorded right now.
I know.
And we're just about to record an episode that we're ill prepared for.
This needs to go at the end of our episode.
Yeah, you're
The tail end.
you're pushing it.